Good Thursday afternoon, and thanks for logging on to TDSweather.com. I'm meteorologist Joseph Cooper with your long-range outlook for this week here, and we're going to be looking at the current long-wave infrared satellite here this afternoon. You can see big elongated cold front coming back out across this area here. We've actually got a secondary cold front back out through here. Upper level waves of energy moving along ahead of this cold front. We've got a lot of precipitation out here across the Ohio Valley here. In fact, if I turn this off, I think I might be able to go on over to, give me just a second here, and I think I can go on over to the radar here into the Ohio Valley region, but you can see all the rainfall that is still ongoing here out across Indiana, western Ohio, Michigan, back down into southeastern portions of Wisconsin. Then you can also see the secondary cold front that is kind of like right back out through here, with the precipitation along it as well that is developed there. So over the last week here, you can see precipitation-wise, we've had some much-needed rainfall back out into Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Some of us here, Indiana, Ohio, out into Michigan remain pretty dry here, below average over the last week as far as the rainfall is concerned. And you can see, most of us were pretty close. We saw some areas of some minor one-class degradation of the drought, and we saw a few marked areas of one-class improvement. Nothing overly widespread or significant, but if we zoom in here, you can see that we're still seeing a lot of places out there that are seeing abnormally dry to moderate drought conditions across Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and then we're seeing areas of severe to even some areas of D4 exceptional drought out into Iowa. And then, like I said, severe to extreme drought back out into portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, down into Iowa, and out into Missouri. Obviously getting some much-needed rain out across the Ohio Valley today with that frontal boundary working on through. The big story is going to be the rainfall today, but then the cooler air coming on in here this weekend that's associated with this big trough up here. So as we work on into tonight and head into tomorrow, you can see by Friday afternoon we've got this nice big deep trough digging in here across the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes into the Midwest, and this is going to bring in some very cool air, our coolest air of the season, as we work into the next 24 to 36 hours. And as we continue on into Saturday, this upper level trough is going to remain in place here across the eastern portions of the United States and really going to kind of stick around on into Sunday. Now the heart of that trough is going to be focused back out into portions of Canada and then back out into the northeast here, but it's still bringing in cool northerly air. So, as we work on into the late weekend, we're still seeing cool air across the Midwest, and that looks to stick around into next week, into Monday, heading on into Tuesday. Initially it looked like this was probably going to be pretty transient, that it was probably going to last 3 to 4, maybe 5 days and then be on out of here. But what we're seeing here is this upper level ridge building in and the blocking high coming in place over here up to the north, and you're keeping this troughiness down to the south, and it allows it to kind of stick around for a longer period of time than initially indicated. So as we continue to work on in through the 10th, going into the 11th, you can still see there's a lot of troughiness here, a lot of cool air down into the United States, below average height anomalies. And as we continue on into the 12th, going into the 13th, indications are that as we work on into not this upcoming weekend, but the next, there's another pretty decent trough here. You can see by Friday the 13th that's digging in here across a large chunk of the eastern United States. So it's reinforcing that cooler air. We've got a lot of ridging back out here to the west, ridging back up into portions of northern Canada, and some warmer air up there with that blocking high. And then as we work into the 14th, the 15th, we're still pretty cool. The next 5 to 10, maybe even 5 to 14 days are looking cool here across the area. Now, is it going to be brutal cold or anything like that? No, but compared to what we've seen, we've, all the way up into the start of October, we were in the 70s and the 80s and even some places near 90 degrees. And so this is just a total change from what we've been seeing. And so it's going to feel a lot colder just because, we aren't used to that air just yet. And as we work into the 16th and 17th, that troughiness is out to the east. I think eventually, as we work later into October, we'll probably see the troughiness ending, and at some point this ridge will build back to the east here. But at least over the next 2 weeks, From what we're seeing with the data and what we're seeing with some of the pattern, it doesn't look likely because of the blocking up here that continues to remain up to the north here across the northern portions of North America. You see this kind of blocking in the winter. You're going to get a lot of cold air displaced down into the south, so that'll be something interesting to watch too. Taking a look at the temperature anomalies over the next 5 days, you can see we're below average across pretty much the entirety of the eastern United States, with all the warmth back out closer to the Rockies and to the west here. So this is cool air in place in through days 1 through 5, and then we move in through days 6 through 10, and you can still see, I mean, we're closer to average, but especially the first 5, 6, 7 days 5 through 7, 5 through 8 are still pretty cool here. And then as we start to work towards like the 15th, 16th, we start to warm up a little bit more. And then as we continue on in through days 11 through 15, we're going to start to see, there's still cool air out here, obviously, but what we will start to see is this ridging starting to expand further off to the east, it looks like towards the end of week 2 into the start of week 3. And we'll start to see a little bit warmer air here that'll start to move on in here towards the end of week 2. Now, I don't know that it'll be well above average or anything, but getting closer to, if not slightly above average, the way it looks. So, overall, if you were waiting for fall, I mean, it's pretty much arrived, and it looks to stick around here. I think our days of 80-plus degree weather are probably over until next spring. And, into the next, at least the next probably 7 to 10 days, we're going to struggle to probably get out of the 50s and 60s in a lot of locations. So it's going to be a big transition. If you're looking forward to that hoodie weather, obviously it's here. So going on over, obviously frost is going to be a big concern. So as we work on into tomorrow morning, probably not seeing a huge concern for frost here. It's as we work more into Saturday morning, portions of a lot of Wisconsin, northern Illinois, portions of the UP having better probabilities of frost on Friday morning, maybe some areas of spotty frost into the Ohio Valley. And then as we continue on into, Saturday morning, and then as we work into Sunday morning, you start to see some of that colder air coming to the south. So there's going to be some areas of frost down into the Ohio Valley as we work on into Sunday morning, and then we continue on into Sunday night, work into Monday morning. A little bit less probabilities into the Ohio Valley, but up across the Great Lakes, you guys still have that frost potential here. And then as we continue on into early next week, I mean, we still have cold air in place with the troughiness. So we're going to have probably frost potential here, for quite some time, up into especially the Great Lakes. But you're going to have a few days here, potentially Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, where you're going to be watching for frost potential down across portions of the Ohio Valley as well. If we take a look here, this is the model blend data, and this is the low temperature. So tomorrow morning, you can see, we're not, frost maybe up here into portions of the upper Midwest, northern Great Lakes, but then Saturday morning, you've got places down into the Ohio Valley, low 40s. So, probably, if we stay in the low 40s, we probably won't have anything in the way of frost into the Ohio Valley Saturday morning. Obviously, that's if. There's some data that brings us into like 38, 39 degrees into portions of the Ohio Valley by Saturday morning. You can see more widespread 30s up here. As we work into Sunday morning, you can see the, upper 30s, low 40s. So Sunday morning, there's that possibility. We continue into Monday, going into Tuesday, into Wednesday. As we work towards mid next week for lows, Wednesday, Thursday, we're warming back up. But, probably on through at least next Monday, Tuesday time frame here, we'll be watching for the possibility of frost all the way down into the Ohio Valley. It's going to depend somewhat on upper level waves, because those upper level waves will bring in cloud cover and rainfall. And where that occurs, your lows are going to be warmer. So if you have cloud cover, you're going to be, more 40s, where if you don't have cloud cover, you may tend to be more down into the 30s. So that'll be important to kind of determine as well. Precipitation wise here, most of your precipitation is going to come today from what we're seeing today into tonight and tomorrow. One thing to keep in mind when you see this upper level low here, especially into the fall, models may tend, especially Sunday, Monday, may tend to keep us pretty dry here across the region. But one thing to keep in mind with that upper level low in place, I wouldn't be surprised if some clouds and some showers stick around in some locations on Sunday, Monday, and models not really anticipate that because, it's these upper level lows tend to bring more unsettled weather, especially for like the fall, winter, spring months. And some of that just has to do with upper level energy, some of it with moisture coming up, being pulled off of the lakes. There's a few things. Nonetheless, precipitation wise, Ohio Valley, into Michigan, there's going to be some areas that are above average, mainly from what we're seeing today into week 1. Into week 2, you can see where some of that moisture is being pulled off of the lakes here, anticipated to be. So if you see lake effect rain showers, perhaps into week 2, you're above average with precipitation. The rest of us are near to just slightly below average with precipitation. So for today, you can see pressure-wise, low pressure up to our north. It's dragging a cold front down here. We've got rainfall, some thunderstorms in association with that cold front as well. As we continue into tomorrow, that cold air continues on in here, but we remain unsettled as that secondary cold front is working across the area tomorrow, and that's really what's going to reinforce that cold air. And as we head on into Saturday, you can see kind of how this moisture is being pulled in off of the lakes out through this area here. So you're on a northwest flow, and so that moisture is being pulled down off the lakes, and it's allowing for some showers to be generated. But even out here into Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, you're still under pretty heavy influence of that upper level low. So don't be surprised if Saturday you're still seeing cloud cover, and you're still seeing at least some spotty areas of like light rain or some sprinkles. And then we continue Saturday night heading into Sunday, again under the influence of the upper level low, especially up into the northern Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes. You're probably still seeing some light rain showers there. And then into Monday, there's additional waves pivoting around this low as it kind of retrogrades out to the west. And so, there could be some showery activity even on into Monday down across the Ohio Valley. Overall, it's not going to be real impressive, but definitely enough to wet the ground and kind of create those unsettled conditions. It'll be very cool. We head on into Tuesday, going into Wednesday of next week. You can see another system trying to work through as we work on in towards Thursday, Friday of next week here with that wave. And as that next trough comes on in here, that next area of low pressure, it may kind of be, as far as like timing and rainfall and things like that, somewhat of a repeat of this week. Other than we're not obviously going to be warm out ahead of it, we'll still be relatively cool, and we won't see like a significant cool down. It'll just be a little bit of a slight cool down, and it'll just be really showery, rainy as we head on into like the 14th, 13th, 14th, 15th of October there, and that upper level low stays around, so next weekend could be kind of unsettled as well. So that's all I have for you here this week in the long range. Everybody, thanks for logging on. Have a great day.